All right, we are live today. I think I should put more of a timer up there than 10 seconds, maybe 30-second timer might be better. Minimize that a little more. Good day, everyone. How are you doing today, this fine March day? I think I've got just 5 weeks left and I'll be gone back to Alberta. I don't know if I like that too much. Mr. Ronney Braun, how you doing, my friend? How is the snow in your part of the country? Some friends of mine still have a little snow. Back home where I'm from, it's just about gone. And April can still be not a good month. Might get some snow in April yet, but I've had snow in May in Medicine Hat. And May, you're assuming it's like summertime already. But, oh, you see the picture in the background there? That's the snake at Chichen Itza. The snakehead is right at the bottom there. It just snowed. Melting, but just snowed. Wow. It seems to be kind of never ending. Like back where I'm from, they said they have like Groundhog Day. They said it was supposed to be an early spring, but didn't happen that way. So I guess he was wrong. Not always right. Put too much sugar in my coffee. Let's see if I can make this just a hair bigger. How about something like that? There we go. Make it just a hair bigger. Yeah, there's other animals that you could get the weather from better than the Groundhog Day. Man, bright sun or bright light from over on this side. The sun. Wow, the sun's over there, but it's shining off the wall from the house next door there. Pretty bright in here. I haven't been doing too much lately on the YouTube deal. I just put out another video. What was it? Was it this morning? Yesterday morning? Can't remember. It was in the morning anyway. 6 o'clock when I was sleeping. It came on. Another drone flight video flying over the football stadium and a bit of the city where I live. Ugh. Yeah, there is curtains here. They're white, but they're knotted up. They're tied up, I guess. There's no windows in these. Well, in this place anyway. There's no windows. All the glass are sliding doors. There's got one straight ahead of me, one to the side here for this part, and then there's a sliding door in the back in the kitchen. And the walls are all painted white. I guess the lighter the colors here in Mexico, the easier it is because of the reflects the light as opposed to, or the heat even as opposed to absorbing like black or dark. Sounds like you're ready to get back to Mexico before you even leave. Yeah, I've been thinking about heading back. I'm gonna hate it. I know already. Like it's back in the van and back to. Well, I only have two places I sleep at. I gotta find more. It's a small city like that is not very good places to sleep. The police don't warn you; they just give you a ticket. And I can't stay permanently where I go, like Walmart or on another side street over by a place called Denny's. And I usually back and forth, but I don't want to do that all summer long. I'm gonna go places again, like tour around uh, Alberta, Saskatchewan, British Columbia, uh, tour around. But it's while I'm there is the problem. So I've been, living in a house here is different than living in a vehicle, that's for sure. But I enjoy living in my van. It's just the parking at night. In my small city, there's no good places to go. I don't want to park in front of like people's houses. Uh, I'm just gonna have to scout out some places like uh, near parks or something, light industrial area, places like that where I could park out of the way of the police. Like I said, they don't knock on your door. They probably don't know anybody's living in there in the first place, but they wouldn't knock on your door and say, "Hey, you can't stay here for the night." So you just more or less you get up, you find a ticket on your window, and I can't afford to pay for those all the time. What do you know? The Stream Elements bot has come up finally, and it's 8 minutes into the stream. Sometimes it's 2 minutes, well, even shorter than 2 minutes. I've seen it come on. The longest I've seen was like 10 to 15 minutes. But the bot is finally working. I should be doing some of my exercises today yet too. Vicky from Opas, Andy is in the house. I haven't seen you for a little while there, Andy. Either on Mondays or in the lives. I think I went by and checked out what kind of videos you had going, but other than that, I hear you. Van life is not as easy as people think. Well, van life today is not as good, is not as reliable as it was when I first started. Um, I used to go to Vancouver for the winter, and I knew where to go. I still, if I go there, I know where to park. I know where to go where it's safe. But back then, it was pretty easy. Nowadays, it's not cheap anymore. It's almost not advisable in some instances. I mean, Mr. John Chucker, how you doing there? Oh, I would think it's pretty hard, and I could never live in a like an SUV type where most people do that. And probably the cheapest way to go. As long as you have a place to sleep, I suppose. A little bit of a cooking area. Some of them got built up pretty nice. Probably not so bad on gas. Uh, I just that's like my van is. I mean, I don't feel cramped in my van at all, but I'm sure that in an SUV I would feel more cramped. You're sitting all the time, as opposed to in my van I can at least stand up. But how long are you going to stand up for? What are you going to do when you're standing up? You got to be doing something like cooking, or otherwise you're sitting most of the time too. I guess suppose in a house you're sitting down most of the time, but it's not as cheap as it was, especially with the price of gasoline keeps going up, and the price of diesel, and the price of the vehicle itself. If you don't have one, then you got to either decide whether you're going to buy a vehicle that you want to live in that's already built out for you, or are you gonna do it? And if you're gonna build it out, well, you have to have the money to buy the vehicle. Then you have to have the money to build it the way you want it. Then you have to have the time to do it. And if it takes you, a few months to do that, well, your summer is shot. Hard to build in the winter in some cities or some places, but I mean, mine is already set up. It was built the way that's the way you bought them. The Dodge Classic Supreme vans were all built by a Canadian company back in, I don't know, Toronto, Ontario, someplace. So you could buy them. And when people bought those back in the day, 1995, it was the year of mine. They used it for 2 weeks of the year, and then they parked it for the rest of the year. It was just to go camping. It was not meant to. I guess they didn't mean them to live in it back in them days. So if you just camped for 2 weeks, that was great. And I've been, living in mine for 5 years and no complaints. Just things break down just like everywhere else. Like even if you lived in a house somewhere, things will break down. You got to pay for everything. Since I've owned that van, I've put maybe $5,000 into it for repairs, but I've had it for 5 years. So if you average that out, that's $1,000 a year. That's not so bad. That's $100 a month, about a little bit less. And but the only problem is when things happen, it's like it's a big lump sum at one point, at one time, and then you're good again for I don't know how long. But so yeah, the life here is in Mexico is great. Just the idea of going back again to Alberta and having the parking situation. I mean, living in a van is not the bad part. It's the moving around, parking. If I could just park somewhere and sit, and then, drive around whenever I needed to go somewhere. But when you go to Walmart, about 2 years ago, the Walmart manager, the staff came out and said, "You can't park here all the time like that." And I said, "Well, I'm gone all day long. I'm just park here for the night." And he says, "Well, you can't park here night after night like that for that length of time or whatever." And so I go to Walmart now just just at night times, but not every night. I go there 1 or 2 nights, then I go to another place 1 or 2 nights, and then I'm back at Walmart again. But those are the only two good places that I know of to park for the night. I'm going to have to really scout out some good places to stay so that I have more than, well, it would be nice if I had at least 6 places so I could stay two nights in each place, 6 places. That takes care, 15 days worth of, so a month I could be in different places. Well, sounds like the guy living upstairs just got back home. I thought he was going to go to the beach today, he said. But apparently not. Have you seen or heard from Ron Darrell lately? He's been by a couple times on the lives, and I told him I go to his all the time. It's just I'm not a typer. I don't like to type. And usually when I go to lives, I just sit in the background and listen. So he says, well, next time you come into his live there, just at least say hi so he knows I'm there. So I did that. And then I chatted for a little bit. You know, but I usually am quiet. I just sit in the background and don't say much. I can see what everybody's typing anyway. So as you can see, I took off the chat window on the side, on the right-hand side there. I took that off my lives because I was thinking the only reason I had it put on there was because if I edit a live stream, YouTube turns it into a video then and not a live stream anymore, even if you take out 1 second. So you edit it, you take out the front part, maybe there's nobody popped in for 10 minutes, so you cut that part off and save it again. And once you save it a second time, it turns it into a video. Well, then all the chat on the side of the live stream is gone. You don't get to see that. So you're talking on this video now, and you can't see what anybody else is saying unless you post it on. Unless I click on the button to post it on the screen. So that's why I had that chat window on the side. I don't know if it was too distracting or not, but then when I edit my lives, then that would at least still be there. You could still see what people are chatting about. But then I thought about it just this last week, and I thought, well, how many live streams in the past have I edited? I edited one. So only one live stream has been turned into a video. Other than that, none. So it's no use having that live chat up there. Then it's on there twice. Even if you watch my lives at a later date, you'll get the chat on the right side, and then you'll get the chat on the right side of the video part. So it's kind of a useless thing. So I took it off. No big deal. Sounds like he just left, going to the beach. Next week, I think I might go to Isla Mujeres again next week, or at least one more time before I go back to Alberta. And because I've been to Isla Mujeres three times already. Now, let me just see here. Oh, Bernay is in the house. Hello, Wayne. I'm camping here in Lake Havasu, Arizona, and loving it. How are you? I'm doing fine, doing great. Nice to see you're camping. Well, it must be nice weather there, unless some people camp in the winter. But what do you mean by camping? Are you tent camping or are you living in a vehicle camping, like a trailer or a motor home of some sort? I don't really know if I remember what you have. But yeah, it's always nice to get out. I mean, how am I doing? Health wise, I'm 70, so I have these old age aches and pains. Diabetes is not fun to deal with. You've got all these other symptoms that you are related to that, like neuropathy to deal with and things like that. But other than that, not so bad. After my I broke my back, it's not that bad. Yeah, I have a sore back instead of a very. It's not doesn't hurt that heck of a lot, but enough that when you move and stuff, you can feel it. But I am not as healthy as some 70 years old, and I am more healthy than some 70 years old. So I'm in the middle, sunny and in the 60s. Oh wow, you're in your minivan still. Okay, cool. I have a clam and a pop-up tent. Oh, for an outhouse. Oh wow, you're slow. You have what kind of a outhouse pop-up? You have a clam and pop-up tent for an outhouse. I think I've seen those online. Um, Probably much similar to those small tents that they have that you can pop up for showers. Um, you hook up, I don't know whatever kind of water system you have, but they're a stand up, like a one person small stand up tent that they use for when you shower. If there's no showers wherever you are parked at. But at a tent outhouse would be nice because then you can go to campsites that don't really have, or if you don't want to use them. But cool, very cool indeed. Now, I don't know if anybody's ever flown with WestJet company. I booked my flight 6 months ago, back and forth. And then I get an email just last week saying that they rebooked me. Like, I was booked in 6 months ago. How come my seat is not secured? They had to bump me to the next flight out of. So where I was like you leave here in Cancun at noon, and then I get to Calgary, and then I fly from Calgary to Medicine Hat on a different plane, smaller plane, and I'd still make it back to Medicine Hat on the same day, May the 5th. Well, now that they've moved my flight later in the day on the 5th, that puts me into the next day, arriving back in Medicine Hat on the 6th. So I've got a 12-hour layover in Calgary because of the moving the flight. Is 4x4 I use as my kitchen and to kick back in. Love's Truck Stop gas station about 8 miles away. Shower, laundry, food, and gas. Oh, that's handy. But the lake is wonderful to walk around and shop. Yeah, it's only 8 miles away, so it's just, a few minutes drive. But they have at least, usually trucker stops are the showers are pretty expensive, not unless you're like in Medicine Hat anyway. If you are a trucker and you buy diesel, the showers are free. But if you're a non-trucker and you don't buy diesel, the showers are like $12 Canadian, which is saying $10 American. And the showers are nice; they're clean, they're everything else. But I leave back to go back to Alberta in 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks. April, what's ever left of March here, and then the month of April, and then on the 5th, May the 5th, I go back. So it's between 5 and 6 weeks, and then it's all over. It seemed like when I got here, it was 6 months. That was a long time. And the closer you get to time to going back, the faster it seems to go. And I'm not looking forward to going back at all. I would love to stay here, but they kick you out of the country. Otherwise, you pay a fine if you get caught, or they could throw you in jail too. I don't mind paying the fine. I don't want to get thrown in a Mexican jail. And the fine is something like 600 pesos, which is $30-40. Not not that bad at all. It's just they can throw you in jail type thing is what I don't like. And they're pretty ruthless here, the police. You're you're a foreigner when you come here and stay here. So these little tiny geckos, they're about 3-4 inches long. The bigger ones are maybe 4-5 inches long. They're little. They can climb up. They can climb on the ceiling, and they can walk across the ceiling. They can stick on everything. I don't know how they do it. They just got long toenails. But sometimes they get in the smallest little cracks, and they come in the house here. Every once in a while, I'll see one, and he's trying to find his way back out. And I have to, open the front door and then scare him out the door. I came here to co-host with the Adventures of Traveling Mike. Oh, we celebrated 2 years of his endless life in 2021. Also being visited by A to Z Dan, who invited us on a boat ride. Oh, cool. Diane is in the house. Ronnie, John, Vernay. Hello, Diane. Oh, yes, watching out for snakes. Yeah. Yeah, well, at least if I don't know what kind of snakes you have there. They have in Alberta, the Medicine Hat there, they have rattlesnakes. And at least you get a warning. You get a tick, 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 tick with the rattle. And they have they're called bull snake, which is like a rattlesnake, only it's got no rattles on his tail. And they kind of rustle their scales together, so you can kind of hear them. But um, they're pretty big. There was an 8-foot one. I was hiding a geocache one year, and I stepped right over it. I didn't even know he was there until I was walking, and I went and hid my geocache, and I walked back. Then I noticed him, and I thought, holy! And I was only just a few feet away from him where I hid my geocache. Oh, you were going for a drive. Oh, you haven't left yet. Okay. Yeah, you were saying something. You were going to leave that night. George, do you do in Cancun yearly during winter? We'll be there end of April. Yeah, I know you said end of April. I leave on May the 5th. So why don't you get a hold of me when you get here so that we can go out and have a coffee or something, have a drink, have a bite to eat or something when you George, do you know how to get a hold of me? I have a Mexican phone number I can give to you if you want. Would be nice to get together and just chit chat or something before I head back. Glad I did, as my 16-year-old grandson got hit by got okay, what's going on upstairs there? Got bit by a dog this morning and is still in ER now. No way. Bit by a dog. Yikes. Your hang on, I gotta get to my door. Hello.
Somebody got inspired? Or that like a spray butter?
Not a spray butter, but I got like spray butter.
Butter and all those pieces of things?
Yeah. Or do you have butter here? I haven't been using your stuff. What's this? That's yours. Yeah, that's yours. Great, well, you got us nice.
But I need it.
Yeah, right on.
Alright, thank you, Wendy. I have stuff in there?
Well, on the bottom shelf, you had a pizza at one time, the pizza's there, probably not good anymore. Your niece or that girl that was here that one time, you had some cheese or something she made something.
Let me see what's passing that shit out.
That's just up here.
Hold this out.
Yeah, well, you can be whatever you want in here. But I put all your stuff like down there.
Oh, that's like on my
That's yours. That's yours. And that's yours. And there we go. That's yours too. So whatever you want to do there, I just gotta get back on the computer and talk. I haven't even looked at all that stuff, so I don't know what's in there. Okay. I've kept your family and your uncle whoever it is there, Diane. I've kept him in my prayers for you. And looks like we're gonna have to do your grandson there too. Hello, I see you. You have an email. I will reach out to you. We will be in Tulum. On Tulum Avenue in Cancun. Tulum Avenue, you're going to be pretty close to where I am. I'm on La Luna, so you must be pretty close to where I am. But yeah, email me and we'll get together if you don't mind. I mean, usually when you come to Cancun, you wanna do whatever you got to do there. But yeah, keep me in mind, anyways. He'll be okay, Vernay. We identified the owner. Police have the dog now. Oh, wow. Like, all depends on how badly he was bitten. I have my sister, her daughter, in the U.S. here, or in the U.S. there, was bitten by a dog, her ear, and they awarded her, I don't know, $500,000 or something. And she was underage, just as so every so many years, every 5 years or something, they would give her some money until she was up to 30 years old or something. It was a good settlement, anyways. But well, if you had multiple complaints about that dog, they're probably going to end up putting it down. I suppose you can't have it. I mean, I'm an animal lover too. I like dogs and cats and all kinds of animals, but you can't have animal going out biting people. Like that's not good at all. Hey, there's Ron. Your ears must be burning here, Ron. I just mentioned your name earlier. Survived another night. Yeah, when I saw your live last night, I got up this morning and it was I don't know what time, 8 o'clock, 8:30, and it said you had just finished streaming 6 hours ago. Man, I was sound asleep at that time. Yeah, so that yeah, if you get a dog that bites people all the time, that's not good. They're and it's complaint more than once. They're probably gonna put the dog down. I don't know how you train a dog not to bite. Get Caesar Milan on it. Must have been yeah, late night. Like I said, 6 hours. Well, yeah, well, 6 hours. It must have been yeah after midnight. That's for sure. My time. How is everybody doing today? I hope it's nice weather where you're at, and winter is maybe finally on its way over, done. Andy, still here, still listening? That's what I do, Andy. I'm usually a lurker. I still haven't got around to finding some sort of speech to text app or something so that I can talk and it changes it to text and so I can chat in live streams because I hate to type. Um, Even if it's you know 5 6 words, I don't I I never went to school and I didn't learn English language that well, and I don't know I'm not that good. So let me do some stuff here. Let me just see if I can post some things here. Why does it do that? Why does it the enter key not enter for me? Oh, I put Andy instead of your channel name. That's what you get when you're dealing with a 70-year-old guy here. There's Andy's link. I don't know if I have Ron in here as far as I programmed him into my stream elements. Ronnie hates to type too. Yeah. Oh, Ron sees America. That's why I haven't got Ron in there because it's this. If it's the first name of, okay, I have to put in Ron. Ron Darrell. I'll have to figure out how to add you in to stream elements so that moderators don't have to go out and actually look for your link. It can be just yeah. You see Ron sees America, but that's all one word. Ron sees America. I don't want people to type in exclamation point and then the whole name of somebody's channel, because some people have lengthy names for their channels. You want it to be fast and simple. So I usually use just the first word. And I usually tell my moderators, if they want to post someone's link, to type in the exclamation point, which is the character you need to type in to speak to Stream Elements as the bot, and then the first word of their channel. And when you come up with channel names like the so-and-so, and another one is the so-and-so, and you have 8 different channels with the word the, well, how do you signify which one you want? So you have to type in more letters of their name. So I have to decide on how I'm going to do that. Ron Darrell, there's Ron Darrell's link there. Diane was kind enough to post that one. I will look you up there, Ron, and find out how I can put you into Stream Elements. And Diane is there, Andy, Ronney Braun. Let me put Ronnie's in here. Ronney Braun. And that should pop up Ronnie's link. Voice to text doesn't understand me. Well, there's that one that comes with Windows, Cortana. I don't like her anyways. I think they did it. Well, maybe they've improved her since, but you can talk to your computer and tell it what to do, and it'll do all kinds of things. But I don't. I have Cortana disabled. I don't use her at all. I didn't even know if you could change her voice. And then you can get like what do you call a Speechify or all those ones, but then you have to pay. I don't have money. I need things cheap, very, very cheap or free. Just use Ron D. Okay. Now the only problem with I know you know that, Ron, but let's say I have a live stream one day and I got some moderator in there that doesn't really understand how to do that, and I tell them, because I have to go to a YouTube side and do things, and I'm stuck in Streamlabs, and today I'm using EVMux. So then you have to have 2 instances open, one of EVMux open and one of YouTube open, and I don't want to, so I just leave EVMux open. So for the moderators to know what to type in is the hard part. Because I do have actually quite a few moderators in there, and when some of them come in and they post links, is they're still going out and looking for the person's link, like going to their channel, copying the link, and then posting it in here. Well, that's what I'm trying to make it more easy for them to just type in exclamation point and the first word of someone's channel. And I do have most of them programmed in here. Now I could make it so that they have to type in Ron Darrell, the whole thing, without a space in there, just Ron Darrell. But again, how would they know that? Especially I'm having troubles with the ones with the word the in front, THE. I have a lot of them that have the word THE in front. So then you're going to have to type in the first and the second name. Otherwise, how do the moderators know what to type in? I could just tell them, type in the whole thing. But like I said, some channel names are quite lengthy. Well, even my channel name is Nomadic Vanman. That's all one word. You can't type in nomadic. I don't think anybody understands me, so why should I? It's me, so why should voice type understand me? with my Yorkshire accent. Well, it all depends on what voice to text you use. Some of them are pretty good. There's a training session where you read a couple of paragraphs and it trains them to understand you. It doesn't matter what kind of accent you have. Once it understands that you have an accent to who? If you're talking to your friends back in Yorkshire, you don't have an accent. Diane says she understands you perfectly fine. When I actually hear your voice, I understand you perfectly fine too. Don't worry about kicking you out. I've been kicked out of better joints than this. Yeah. You need a ladder to kick him out. Sometimes my voice to text changes it to something sinister, not even close to what I had said. My phone is that way. I have an Android phone, Samsung, and I don't type with my fingers. I don't, because I can't spell. So I use something called swipe, whereas you keep your finger on the screen, but you swipe your finger over the letters that form the word. And usually it's pretty good. It picks the word that it thinks that you're trying to type, and it's pretty good. But sometimes it'll change the word, and if you don't read the text, a couple of words are changed. And usually people are pretty good. They'll understand what you meant anyway. You don't have to fix your typing. They know what you're saying anyway. I haven't even looked up a text to speak or no voice to text app at all. Well, if you're using your smartphone, that's different. When you're using a laptop, you have to download something in order for to install it and then get it going. And you speak fluent typo. And it all depends on where I'm typing. If I'm typing on the computer and I'm typing in Notepad or something, for example, it knows enough to correct my spelling, and it corrects it for me. In other applications on the computer, it doesn't bother. It just leaves the typo, but it puts a red line under it, so I know it's spelled wrong. Then what I do is highlight the whole word and click on right mouse button, click on it, and then it gives me a list of words that it thinks it is, and then I just pick the right word and it corrects it. All right, Andy, thank you for popping in. Love you, my brother, from across the pond all the way there. I hope you're feeling it, and we'll catch you on the next one, brother. Thanks for coming in. With a deep Texan voice. Doesn't compute. It does not compute. That deep southern drawl you got there probably can't figure out what the heck you're trying to say. Andy. Yes. Texan, not taxi cab. Uber. Doesn't understand Uber. They're just trying to promote the Uber company here in Mexico, or in Cancun. In Mexico, other cities, yes, but in Cancun, the taxi service here in Cancun is like a syndicate. There's only one taxi company in Cancun, and nobody likes them, not even the local people. The taxi cabs even charge more money than they're supposed to for the local people who kind of know what the prices should be. But when you're a foreigner, a traveler, or something, they charge you three times. If I got to go somewhere and I have to take a cab instead of the bus, and I stick my arm out to flag down a cab, well, they say, "Hey, there's a white guy. I can make triple my fare," because the taxi cabs here don't have meters in them. That would hold them according to the meter price. Then they would probably take a long way around. But here they just say how much they want. They just tell you how much they want to go somewhere, and then you have to pay that. Or you don't have to. You don't even. You don't get in. Auto misspell. Yeah, that's great when you can have auto misspell. You're so far out in the sticks, there are no taxis or buses or users. Peeling boiled quail eggs so you can pickle them. That's those little eggs. You have to eat 4 or 5 of those to make one regular type egg, I suppose. I don't think I've ever eaten quail eggs. I've, like I was telling you on your one of your streams there, Daryl, that I've eaten pigeon before. Pigeon, the bird. It's like looks like a small little chicken. Tastes good. People would say, "You're eating a pigeon?" They don't taste any different. They're just very tiny wings and very tiny drumstick and not much breast meat. A couple of bites. How many you're pickling today? Diane says. How many are you pickling today? It takes a lot of those to make a dozen. You must be raising. You can buy those at the grocery store, but if you're raising quail, do they lay eggs like chickens, like regularly, where you can just go out and collect eggs every so often, every day or every other day or however long? So that I follow one lady, Nona Grace. She raises chickens. And usually, when you have chickens, I don't know how many you need, but there comes a point when you have lots of eggs. Bernays says hi. Each hen lays egg every day. Oh, wow. That's pretty good. Squib. My dad loved squib. Squid? Squib. Well, my grandparents used to raise pigeon. That's why we eat them all the time. They weren't no different to me than a chicken. They really have a good taste. Oh, Oh, another word for pigeon. Okay. Now, this was a funny thing. We lived in a very, very, very small town, like a couple hundred people. And my grandfather would raise these pigeons. And the guy that ran one of the restaurants there, he was Chinese fellow. And you could get some quite the Chinese dishes. Well, his wife got sick one time, and his remedy was to make a soup out of pigeon, but the pigeon had to be newly born, like just hatched out of the egg, one day. And so my grandfather would go out to the pigeon coop every day and collect whatever he could of pigeons that just hatched that day. And he made this soup out of these pigeons like that. That seems horrible to me, but I liked when maybe we ate the pigeons when they were older. I don't know, but every once in a while, I remember we would have pigeon. You'd go to supper time and or dinner, whatever you want to call it, and there'd be two little pigeons on your plate, baby pigeons, just feathered out. Well, this, like I said, this Chinese restaurant, they had to be one day out of the egg, like before feathers. So a squib is a baby pigeon that just finished feathering out. Eh? Oh, cool. I didn't know that either. That's something new. New for me. Was it you, Ron, that said something about toad, or what do you call a male or female? Um, what kind of a toad? What kind of a frog was that? Bullfrog or what kind? Yeah, what was the answer to that? I never did catch that. What do you call a male or a female bullfrog? Or is a bullfrog a male? I was also talking to a Mexican guy here in town, and we were talking about cats and dogs. Now they have a different name for a female cat and a male cat. They don't just say well, unless you're trying to define. Well, there's no word for just like a cat. It's there's a if you're talking about the female cat, you call it the female and the male cat. So a cat for a cat, tomcat is a male cat in where I'm from. But what do you call a female cat then? These quail lay 300 eggs a year from one hen. Well, that's one every day. Well, just about 365 days. Wow, holy smokes. And if you have several, you have 12, you could have 12 eggs a day. You could have your dozen eggs a day. There's no gender for frogs. A bullfrog is a type, and I know it's a type of frog, but I thought maybe the question was a good question, like what do you call a male or female bullfrog? Now, where I'm from, Saskatchewan, they had so many. I guess they were toads more or less than frogs that would just cover the roads, the dirt roads. When you're traveling home in your car, you'd be squishing these things. Very tiny little toads, but they would certain times of the year they would come out from wherever they are, and they're just covering the roads, trying to get to wherever they're going. Bullfrog even laugh out loud. There goes my phone. My phone's dinging at me, and I usually don't get notifications. So let's just see what that was. Oh, okay. It looks like it's an email. There is a live tonight. This email's from um, Lance, saying that Charlie Grace's birthday celebration tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern time. So if anybody knows Charlie Grace, there is a probably a live stream or something tonight at 9 Eastern time, Eastern PM tonight, from Charlie Grace Adventures, is having a birthday party celebration live tonight on a special night, Sunday, March 26th at 9 p.m. If you want to come up on the panel, hang out with the rest of the gang, email me and I will email you back with the link. Here's the link for tonight's thing. See you all tonight. So tonight, Charlie Grace is having a birthday party. A handful. See what you started, Ron? Must be all Ron's fault today. Quail eggs, those are like a brownish color with black speckles, like they're maybe even multicolored, I think, right? Is that correct or not? I don't think I've ever eaten frog legs. I've seen them prepared. Um, we used to put an electrode on their leg and make their leg kick, but I've seen them prepared, but I've never eaten one. I would try that. That's supposed to be a lot of people eat frogs' legs. I've I've caught many frogs when I was growing up in the ponds and stuff, and big frogs with I guess those are the bullfrogs with the long legs, and we used to catch many of those. He asked about female bullfrogs, and now many other channels are asking. So Ron started that. He probably knew the answer to that before he asked the question. He just figured he'd answer, or figured he'd set that out there. So okay, what about like a domestic house cat? A male cat is a tom cat. What's a female cat called? I don't know the answer to that one. I guess I could look it up. And then what about dogs? A female dog is a bitch, and a male dog is hmm. I think I used to know. So I'm stuck on a female cat and a male dog. I'm talking domestic, not your wolf or your any of those, like your domestic house dogs. So when I was talking to the Mexican fellow here, I was saying the female dogs we call them a bitch, and I said you don't. That's one B word you don't call women. And he would say, "Well, wow, that's a weird name." Uh, what else was there? There was some more other ones that the Mexicans feel that's a funny. Um, funny way to call something. Guy, 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 for some reason is a weird thing. Oh, I still didn't take my timers off. Remove timers. I don't need this. I don't need to have stream elements popping up. Remove comment timers or timed comments. Um, makes you wonder if you're eating frog legs. Are they male or female? I'll. Frogs are really weird. They're neat. They start as a tadpole. And then, whether it's being a frog or a toad, it's something like a turtle and a tortoise. They're two different things. The same with frog and a toad. They're two different things. Maybe toads don't start as tadpoles. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Makes you wonder if eating frog legs, are they male or female? Okay. So I just looked up on YouTube what a male or female frog is called, and it says there is no designated name for female or male frogs. However, frogs' offspring are normally referred to as tadpoles or polywogs. Uh, before they become so, a female frog up to a point could be called a tadpole or a froglet, a female. I don't know how you differentiate a female from a male. Like, can you tell by looking at them? But anyways, that's what it says here. A female frog is called a frog or a female frog. That's what you call a female frog. There is no recognized and commonly used name to differentiate them from males. So there you go. Lance, I just got your text, Lance, about Charlie Grace's birthday tonight at 9 Eastern time. I was notifying everybody here in the stream that um, to pop over tonight. Tricked one of her boys into eating frog legs. Told him it was a chicken. That's what people say when you eat snake or frog legs or something. Oh, it tastes like chicken. He took one bite and gagged. Fried frog legs are good. There you go. Direct from Ron. Unless he's pulling your leg. Females are larger. Hand paws are different size. So that's from YouTube anyways, they're telling you what frogs, male, female, are called. They don't have you can't you can tell by I guess looking at them, but you can't call them, so they're just frogs. Or if you want to say if you know what one is and you say here, this is a female frog. That's it. I've got your cow frog right here. I've got your cow frog right here. Lance, thanks for popping in, Lance. Are you a moderator, Lance? I don't remember. Or can somebody pop in Charlie Grace's link? And I don't know if I have. I don't know if I have Lance's link in my stream elements. Yes, I do. There's Lance's. See if I have Charlie Grace's in there. I am subscribed. There we go. There's Charlie Grace's link and Lance's link there that they were programmed in. See, I have to actually put them in there in order for them to work. So, hey, I'm efficient on those. I don't usually have those all the time. But I got those ones. Cool. Charlie Grace Adventures, right on. Yeah, we can use handles now, which makes it much easier. Especially, I think everybody has a handle. YouTube gave everybody one. If you didn't pick one, they just gave you one. So it makes it much easier just to use the @ symbol and which makes it easy. So there you go. You can click on those, go there, and then set up for tonight at 9 Eastern time. I think either one of those links will work. Mine is different. The link that I put up there is different. It's probably the old one, but it'll still take you to the same spot anyway. The same deal. I can't click on those links from here. I have to go to YouTube side in order to do that. Okay, well, hang on. While I'm still at YouTube over here. While I'm in YouTube, I might as well Oh, there we go. Nobody knew the answer. Female cat. A male cat is a tomcat. A female cat is called a molly. Molly. Molly cat. There we go. You used to be a moderator? I know you removed and re-added people all the time. Well, no, I used to like to have almost everybody as a moderator, and some people still do that. But moderators kind of use their power to disadvantage sometimes. They're doing things which I didn't like, and I had one in the house that I can't remember her name, but she was very controversial. Let me tell you. And so I wiped everybody. I took everybody off moderator, and then I slowly built it up again. And there's a lot of fine people out there. Let me tell you, Dave, Ghetto Van Adventure. Now there's one. Ghetto Van Adventure. There's Dave, another fellow Canadian. Great guy, one of my fine brothers. Let me tell you, nice guy. Beautiful channel. Love it. Him and his dog, Abby. Um, there's the link. Go and check him out, guys. Ron, what does Ron say? You hear about the guy that came over here from France? Some Texan took him out to eat, ordered calf fries. French, you wanted to know what you told him? Yeah, okay, you call those calf fries. We call those prairie oysters in Alberta, prairie oysters. I have never tried those. I've seen them in the stores, but I've never tried those. But there is Get Van Adventures link. Dave. That's what you're feeding me. The next night they ordered turkey fries. Oh, no way. That's pretty good. That's a good one. I like that joke. They ordered what calf fries, okay, and the next was turkey fries, and then the last was French fries. Yeah. Passed right out. They'll be throwing up for a week. Well, thanks for asking there, Dave. My back's feeling much better, much better. I do have a sore back all the time, and that's probably just because I'm old and the trauma from I don't know if it'll ever go away completely, but it's not to the point where it's debilitating. Debilitating. I don't even know that word. It doesn't hurt me. I feel like a sore back or something all the time, especially when you're moving. If I'm just sitting or standing or walking, I don't feel it so much. But um, I just thank the Lord actually that it only was as bad as it was. I mean, I went the minute I had that happen to me, I go online to see other people, and they fell just like I did, but they're now paralyzed either from the waist down or from wherever. Or and I thought, wow, how thankful I am that that's only what happened to me. And I don't know if I thanked you enough, Dave, for helping me out. It was just to talk to someone is fantastic enough. And I love you, brother, and thank you very much for your help and your honesty. And yeah, well, usually when you hear a broken neck, maybe sounds worse than a broken back, but I always thought, when I heard people before I had this, you hear people say they broke their back, and I thought, oh man, my goodness, How do you live with that? Wow. And then it happened to me, and I'm just so thankful I'm feeling the way I am. I mean, I like I was telling people here that I have 70-year-old problems, like all 70-year-old people do. Like I'm in the middle. I know there's people worse off than I am, and I know there's people better off than I am at the moment. So I'm in the middle somewhere. I have your diabetes. I have high blood pressure. I have your aches and pains of a 70-year-old person, but I can still walk. I can still talk. Uh, I can do things. I'm not crippled up like some 70-year-old people are. I feel sorry. I don't know how I can help, but and there's some 70-year-olds that still go out and dance and loving life. Like so, I'm loving my life to the best I can and just deal with day by day. I can't. Yes. Well, how does that saying go? Where yesterday is gone, it's past. Tomorrow is not here yet. You got to live for today. And that's what I kind of try to do all the time is live for today. I can't speculate on what's going to happen tomorrow and uh, plan for tomorrow. I just let it happen. And yeah, Diane, my fracture is healing up nicely. I did get another CT scan. Like I said, there was several people that stepped forward and uh, donated their either their time or their money to help me out because I don't make a heck of a lot of money. Go to Canada and find out how much CPP and old age security, how much money they give you in a month. And yes, I know I do uh, choose not to work. I suppose I could work and make an income, but I thought living in my van, I could afford that. So I am where I am, not in Mexico, but I mean, I'm living in that lifestyle. So I have to learn to live with the money that also goes with that. And I didn't come to Mexico to fall and break my back. I mean, I didn't, you don't do that on purpose. If I knew that, I would, so anyway, the money that I did receive and me for saving up what I could, I was able to go get another CT scan and I made another video of it, how it was healed. And when even your arm or whatever you break, your leg or your arm, when bone heals back together, it's like welding metal. When you weld two pieces of metal together, right at the weld is thicker than the metal, unless you grind it off. I mean, but it's the same as your bone. When your bone heals, it makes it like a more bone in that area, and so that's what my back. It's called the bone that broke on me on my back. Two of them is not the vertebrae. It's the bone that actually points straight out to your back. Like your vertebrae is actually this far in your body, your hand width. So your vertebrae is right here, the distance of your hand in, and then this bone that comes out of there's three of them, two sideways and one straight out. That one straight out one, so when you run your fingers down your backbone, that's what you feel. That's called the spinous process bone. And I broke the end of those off. Now the end of that bone is the most sensitive part. That's got all the blood vessels and the nerve endings on the end there. That's the most important part, is the very tip of it. And that's what broke up. It didn't just crack, it broke off. But all your tissue, your meat around it is holding it together. And so I guess the bone grows and grows until it grows back together. I guess if it's a millimeter apart or however far apart, it it connects and builds itself back together again. And my MRI showed, not MRI, my CT scan showed that that's healed. It's amazing how your body can heal that fast. Like, wow. Are you ever coming back to Canada? I wish I didn't have to. I, they're going to kick me out of the country after 6 months. And if you don't leave, and they look at your pass list, the police stop you for some reason, you're jaywalking or you spit on the ground or you're riding in a car or whatever, there's a white guy that stop him and see why he's here. And they find you're not supposed to be here any longer, then they'll fine you and they could throw you in jail. I don't want to be thrown in jail. It doesn't matter of the fine. It's a 600 peso fine, which is like $30-40. I could pay that. But I don't want to get thrown in prison. Like, they literally throw the key away until you get a lawyer or whatever to get you out and back home. I'll come back when it thaws. Yeah, no kidding. They put metal rods in my back. Oh boy. Secured with screws. And took bone from my hip to cover them. Ay, graft your bones. On your back? Wow, Diane. I thought I felt sore with what I had. My goodness, it's not like a broken arm where they can put a cast on it and you have to wait till it heals. On your back, you just walk around till it heals. And then the doctor said, walk. But my goodness, Diane, holy smokes, I had no idea. But my back is healing fine. And Dave says, coming back to Canada, I don't really want to, but I have to. I am getting GIS. That's also, but I think this year they're going to take some or all of it away on me, because I'm allowed to make X amount. I forget what the amount is from CPP and old age. And if you make under that amount, they give you the GIS. Now, if you make over that amount, they take that off. And the GIS I do get adds a nice, amount more. Where did I write that? I've been looking into that because I want to find out how much I'm going to get. I'm thinking about my taxes. I'll be here until May, so I can't make it back to Canada in order to get my taxes sent in. But I don't think I actually have to do my taxes. I don't make enough money. If you're under a certain amount, you don't have to fill out tax. So I'm thinking that I'm under the amount. I don't even have to fill out my tax this year. Where did I write that? Oh, this is another interesting fact of Canadians, anyways, about when you should collect your CPP. At what age? You could start collecting CPP at age 60. You can wait till you're 65, or you can wait till you're 70 to start collecting your CPP. And a lot of this all depends on several factors. If you're relatively healthy and you have other sources of income, you might want to wait till you're 70. If you maybe are not so healthy, you don't have to be that like bad off, but I mean, and you need extra money, then it's better to take it at 60 or 65. Now, here's the kicker. This is on an average. If you take CPP at the age of 60, you'll probably get about $640 per month. Now, if let's say you have twins, they're both born on the same day. One takes his CPP at the age of 60, and the other one takes it at the age of 65. That's only 5 years. But if you take it at 70, that's even a higher number. But so those two brothers. Now, the guy that took it at age 60 for 5 years will have, if you can put it in the bank and not taking any money away from it, he'll make $38,400 in 5 years. 38,400 in 5 years. So now he's got that much money in the bank. Now his brother takes his CPP at age 65, but he gets $1,000 a month instead of 400 or 640. So in 3 years, he'll be up to $36,000. So he's almost caught up to his brother. But those 3 years, you will have to add on to the 60-year-old guy that took it at 60. So the 60-year-old guy would be collecting money up to 8 years before the 65-year-old would catch up. And if you took it at 70, that would be 16 years or more. At the age of 70, you would get $1,420 a month. Sure, you get a lot more money, but in order for the 65-year-old guy to make the same, to catch up so that your bank rolls are even, would be 8 to 10 years. Are you going to live for 8 to 10 years after 60? I took mine at 62. I should have taken it at 60, really. I took mine at 62, and when I was 65, I banked all my money and I bought my van with my money. I just cashed in some, and I still had enough money set aside so that if everything works fine on the van or if it falls apart, I have I'd still have some money set aside. So, like I said, in the time I was in the van, I had put some money into it. Not a lot. If you add it up per month, yes, it was pretty low, like a couple $100 a month. But still, when it happens at a one lump sum. Like your brakes go, or your water pump went, or certain things. Then you got to fork out that money all at one shot. But if you divide that money up over a year, sure, it's not a lot. So, anyways, that's what I was telling about. Oh, the GSI. For some reason, I've got $916 GSI written here. I don't know if that's how much I make, or if that's the amount you'll make. Is that the most you could make? They take some off for every amount, and the GSI money is tax free. It's money they give you that's not taxed. Whereas CPP and old age security is taxable, which is weird. It seems like you're already taxed on that money, and you got to pay taxes again. And CPP is weird. Like when you're working, your employer has to pay the same amount, a percentage of, I think it's 2.5% of your wage towards CPP, and you have to pay that amount. So your employer pays the same as you do. Dave says goodbye. Bye, Dave. Sorry I missed you. Sorry, I didn't mean to ignore you there. Or bye, Daryl. Bye, darling. Oh, Daryl. Ron must have left. Sorry, I'm reading wrong. It's such small letters. I can't even see that. You wore a metal bracelet from chest to hip anytime I was out of bed for 6 months and had to walk a mile a day. Holy smokes. Ron, I forgot, I didn't see he said goodbye. Sorry, Ron. Missed you. Love you, brother. Don't work too hard. I could work at Walmart as a greeter. the old guy that's standing at the door saying, hello, welcome to Walmart, or good day. I could do that. I don't suppose I could do any kind of heavy stuff like I used to do. Journeyman electrician, I could do electrical, but then sometimes it all depends on where you're working. You could do electrical work. That's still up here. What else did I do? Sewing machine technician. That's sitting and doing repairing sewing machines. I've done that for 20 some years, 25 years. And it's not like in the olden days where you worked somewhere for 25 years and you would get your leave, you'd get an income after you. Not now anymore. There's no, it doesn't matter how long you work someplace. It's when you're gone, you're gone. Doesn't sound like too much fun though, Diane, when you have you're stapled together in places, screws and with his quail. I guess he does. Yeah, you were saying something. He raises quail. So it sounds like they lay more eggs than chickens do. And then he probably takes some of those eggs and hatches them and makes more little ones. So he has a constant supply of quail. But that would be fun. That'd be cool. I guess you have to have the area or the space for that. But that would be interesting. What was I just explaining? Oh, the CPP and the old age. I don't get much money, let me tell you. And if I had to pay rent at an apartment instead of my van, then I wouldn't be able to go anywhere. I wouldn't be able to go to a warm country for the winter because I couldn't afford to pay for the rent and then go to another country and pay rent even though it was lower to stay there for 6 months. I couldn't afford that. 42 eggs in his incubator. Wow. I should have taken more, or maybe I do have video of that. I haven't put up my video of when I went to Xcaret yet. Now, Xcaret, they have those really colorful parrots, the red, the blue, yellow, green, multicolored parrots. What they do is they take the eggs from those birds and then they hatch them, and then after they're grown up a little bit, they let them go into the wild. They're replenishing the wild. And I have never seen so many eggs collected, and they're in incubators and they're hatching. I videoed the little ones there. He just trying to get out of his egg. It was cool. But that's those really colorful, mostly red colored parrots. And I have some beautiful footage of Xcaret coming up. I'm so far behind in my videos that I've got enough to, when I go back to Canada, I've got enough for a couple of months worth of videos yet from here in Mexico. But Xcaret is a beautiful place. There's 50 different events that you can go and visit there, and you can't really do it in one day. It's just impossibility. But they had underground river. Well, it was above ground and not above ground, but above, nothing above you, sky, and then through tunnels and stuff, rivers, and they're only 20 feet wide, and they give you vests to wear, and you float down this, or you kind of swim your way down, and it takes about 3/4 of an hour to go along through underneath there. So I went on that. I went to the butterfly cage. It's a great big, huge area, city block big, and it's got a big net over the trees over top so the butterflies can't fly away. But there are, I would say, a million butterflies in this place where butterflies are everywhere. Like they land on you and they're in the trees and they're just everywhere. And some facts about butterflies I never knew before is butterflies only see in three colors: red, green, and yellow. And their taste buds are on their feet. Could you imagine if we had taste buds on our feet? You wouldn't be walking around. So butterflies, they had jaguar there. They had not pelican, yeah, pelicans. Uh, um, what's those pink birds with the long legs? Um, they had those just walking around in the public. You can, well, you don't want to pet them; they'd probably bite you, but they're not caged off. Um, they had a play at night, a 2 hour play. I videoed that thing. Just simply amazing. That's where the birds came in at the end of the night. Like these parakeets or whatever you call those birds, they're just sitting on the trees. You can almost touch them. Well, you could probably touch them. They're that close, and they're wild, and they're just sitting there. They're half asleep. Uh, First one he hatched was a male. He was named Fred. He ran around wearing shell like a helmet for a day and a half. Oh no! Knocking other quails down. What do you mean it would just stuck on his head? I wonder, and it stayed there for a day and a half, or did he actually put it on there somehow? Probably when he came out of his egg, he that part was stuck on him or something. Okay, Diane. Thank you. Love you, sister. Thank you for popping in and giving me all the information. Love you, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Oh, I got a warning. I'm only allowed 2 hours a day on EV and 30 hours a month. So usually it gives you 2 hours and 1 minute. After your 2 hours, it says it gives you enough time to say your goodbyes, and then it just hangs up on you. So it's an hour and 43 minutes I've been on my live. So another 45, another 15 minutes. Oh, another 15 minutes, and it'll cut me off. So if there's anybody still in the house, I just wanted to say that if nobody has told you they loved you today, let me be the first, or like even the second. God has told you he loved you today, and I will be the second then. I love you and cherish each and every one of you for coming in and spending the time out of your day to come to my live. Love you guys. And 2 hours on a live stream is pretty good. It's enough time. I think last year, the year before, I'd always when I did come on, it was only usually an hour, and then I would leave. And I think today, oh yeah, but it's windy. I thought it was going to be nice today. I could fly my drone, but it looks windy. So I was going to fly my drone at night down by Cocobongo area where there's a lot nightlife, lots of lights and everything to see, and car lights and lights from the bars and the restaurants and things. Because most things here in Cancun, or in probably all of Mexico, are like open air. They might have a roof to cover for the rain, but there's usually no walls in some places. They just block everything off at night when they close up with wire gates, metal gates and stuff. They pull the gates closed at night, but they're usually open walled otherwise during the day, so a breeze can blow through, and so the light would be shining at night out there. But if it's windy, I can't fly my drone because I won't be able to see it, that's for sure. It's dark. It has a flashing light on it, but are you above the trees or are you above the power lines to make sure that you're high enough? It's got to make sure that you're up high enough, and then just fly down along the streets. But I'd like to go when it's not so windy. And it said it was supposed to be clear, partly cloudy today, which usually if it says partly cloudy, which means it's hot and there's sun most of the time. The clouds are usually off in the distance, but they look pretty dark actually right now, which means sometimes if it rains, it'll rain at night. So anyway, the picture in the background on here is a picture of Chichen Itza Temple, and the snake, Kukulkan snake. That's the name of the snake god. Let me move my picture out of the way a little bit. You can see this. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but the snake is the light part, the sunlight coming down, and then there's an actual rock carving of the snake head at the bottom. So only twice a year this snake appears, at spring solstice or equinox and the fall equinox. And the equinox means equal day, equal night. And then the sun, where it is, the shadow from these plateaus or these bumps here is what's over here, the shadow for here, which makes it look like, like the belly of the snake, more or less, is crawling down. And if you were to make a time lapse of this, that would be cool, because then you would see these bumps here moving. I'm going to have to look that up. Time lapse. If I can find a time lapse of that, then I would post a picture of the time lapse. Get out my book. Kukulkan. Kukulkan, the snake. Impressive. Like when I went to school, I hated history or literature. I hated that. Now in my lifetime, I love history. When I go to some other place, even if it's in Canada, I want to know the history behind everything. I want to know the history of Canada. Justin and Christina, hi, how are you doing, my friends? I've got 11 minutes left before I'm cut off from my live stream. It's going to time out for me. EV Mux cuts me off at 2 hours, so I've been on for a while. So if I say goodbye, just so that you know also, if nobody's told you guys that they loved you today, let me be the first. I love you guys. And when did I have that? Somebody popped on and says, you don't have to tell me that. You don't have to say that all the time. I know I don't. But just understand, God loves you, whether you like it or not. And so do I. There's my friend from Medicine Hat. Look at that. Have you been listening long? Or you're lurking in the background, or did you just pop on? I have been on for an hour and 49 minutes, and I'm only allowed and 2 hours on my live. So I'm going to be kicked off here in 10 minutes. So you're just here in the nick of time. In the nick of time. And Justin and Christina just popped in. And if anybody wants to go to their channel and check them out, I'm going to pop up a link for you. And then you can, there it is there, to Justin and Christina. You can go to their channel and check them out. And like I was explaining to people, the picture in the background here on what you're watching here is the temple. And you can see that where the snake is, the sunlight here, this roll and the belly rolling, that's the snake. The sun comes down and hits the rock snake head. And Sharon is here. Just popped in also. Unfortunately, Sharon, I have to leave in 10 minutes. My time is up. But the top of the snake, his back, is where those stairs are. You can't see them because I'm at that angle. You can't see them. But that flat part there is where there's 91 stairs. And on all four sides is those 91 stairs, which adds up to 364. And then the topmost part of the temple, if you go to my last video, it'll show you that better. I'm going to put more videos out about Chichen Itza also. But then the 365, this whole temple is a calendar in itself. There's those plateau things here, like there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's 9 of those, although they're for a reason. And then within the carvings, within here, there's 3 carvings on each plateau, and those all mean something. And when you stand in the front here on those stairs, the stairs are about 30 feet wide, and then 91 of them going up. If you stand in front of there and clap your hands, I have a short out. If you go look at my shorts, go to my channel, look at the shorts, and you'll see one short in there that says, "Can you hear the bird?" And the bird is, it's spelled Quetzal, Quetzal, Quetzal. And that's a beautiful bird they have here, which makes a sound. And when you clap your hands in front of the stairs, it echoes that sound back to you. That's that bird. And if you stand beside the steps, you can hear an echo come back of your clapping, but you don't get to hear the bird. So the Mayans were very, very, very good at echo. Oh, you did watch it. Oh, cool. Even when you go to their stadium where they would play their game, Pok to Pok, it's called. POK, Pok, te, Pok. I forget how you spell the second word, and Pok again, POK. POK, another word, talk, and Pok again. That's where you hit the ball with your hip through this hoop. Not a basketball hoop, but almost set on the vertical. And when you clap your hands in that stadium, you can hear it'll bounce back and forth 7 times. So you'll clap and it'll go tit, 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 7 times. It's amazing. I just love the whole history of the Mayans, and a lot of people. I was just telling my friend Darren there about the calendar. Their calendar ended on December 21st, 2012, and everybody thought it was the end of the world going to happen because not all of the planets lined up in a straight line for the first time in thousands and thousands of years. Well, their calendar ended because that was the end of an era. It wasn't the end of the world, it was the end of an era. And the era started 5,136 years ago with some Mayan king that was, I forget what his name is. I have it written down, but this king started his reign 5,136 years ago. You clap once and you get 7 echoes in the Pok to Pok thing. So this Mayan king started 5,136 years ago, and on December 21st, 2012 was the end of that reign, and a new era started. So that's what that calendar, why it ended at that particular time. So a lot of actual people thought, oh, hey, they predict the end of the world is coming. But No, that wasn't so. Okay, we've got 4 minutes. And then, like I said, after 2 hours, it gives me 1 minute to say goodbye, and then it just off. So if I am gone, well, I'll let it go till 2 hours, and then I'll hang up for the day. Oh yeah, I got to fix stream elements so that it's not doesn't post those for me. Join YouTube. Okay, that tells my particular. Yeah, at the puck field, you clap once and it bounces back and forth 7 times, and it's like a football stadium long, or a football field long, and one king would sit at one end and the other king would sit at the other end, and they could whisper and they could hear each other. Reaching pre-plan limits of, I have 5 minutes. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's, if I pay for EV Mux, then I can have unlimited time. Whoopee. I remember I was a little worried about the world ending. Yeah, there was a lot of people that thought, yeah, the Mayans predicted the end of the world because at one time, they were the most advanced civilization in the world for mathematics and astrology. Could you imagine astrology, knowing about the planets when they have no telescopes? How did they know that a twinkling star up there was a planet and not just some far off distance galaxy? Like, holy smokes, man. And every other twinkling star you see up there is a galaxy of many stars. It's not just one burning thing. The only burning thing we can see is the sun. Other than any other suns out there are part of a galaxy. Like, it's simply amazing. But anyways, guys, I have 2 minutes left, and I guess we'll end our live stream on a good note. That I had a good live stream today. Had a nice discussion about everything. Just remember that a male cat, domestic cat, is called a tom cat, and a domesticated female cat is called the molly. We were lost with that. And male frogs and female frogs, there is no distinguishing, except you have to know what they are, male or female. You just call frogs a frog. You can call a female frog, if you know it's a female, you can call it a female frog. That's the only distinction. So Daryl's raising quails, and he has 300 quail eggs a year. So it takes a lot of those to make a dozen. So anyways, guys, 2 minutes, 1 minute. So anyways, we'll catch you guys all on the next surprise pop-up. I don't know when it is. It's even a surprise to me. We'll catch you guys all on the next one. Love yous all. Nobody's told you they loved you today. Let me be the first. I love each and every one of you. And thank you for popping in and spending the time out of your day to come and watch my live. All right, guys, take care. Love yous all, and we'll see you next time. Stay awesome.